Okay. Um, do you think you'll be explaining
The whole.
annotation at some stage?
Yeah. Do you
Well, not
want to?
today necessarily.
I was going to say, did you want that now? I think there's a lot to go
No.
into with that, but basically
Yeah,
the
yeah.
way I didn't go back and read it from the book, so I need to check to see exactly the one that you're referring to with Lucky Search.
Yep, yep.
I'll check it out
Yeah.
though.
Could be a good filler one day if we finish early.
Yeah, yeah, we should do that.
It could be a good little feature.
There were a couple of other things I thought about that we could probably put into some of these recordings, like um, I guess people can see we haven't really shuffled or we haven't really moved cards from the sideboard into the deck. I guess you did one time, didn't you?
Mm-mm.
Because
And I've
that's
started thinking about it. I've got plans for my next deck of
okay. Good.
when I'll do that.
Well, we'll walk through that too.
Mm. Anyway, I was just looking at the sideboard for this deck, trying to think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really need anything out of there at the moment. Right. So start turn, and I was just remembering that I moved to Dunharrow, hoping
To get the Army of the Dead or the Paths of the Dead.
I had Army of the Dead already in my hand, but I didn't have Paths of the Dead, and I picked it up.
Okay.
In my travels.
So keep in mind that the hazard environment favors the undead at this point, and the will of Sauron keeps the long event Plague of Whites in play.
That's right. I
So
was
that
thinking,
will
Plague of
not go
Whites is going to
away.
come off, but it won't.
The
Yeah.
minions, your minions Stir and my Plague of Whites will both stay in play indefinitely until Doors of Night goes away or a play deck is exhausted. Because when a play deck is exhausted, you discard the Will of Sauron, and when it's discarded, all hazard long events are discarded too. So the Minion Stir and the Plague of Whites will both go. Doors of Night will stay out when the play deck goes through, but all the nasty hazards will go away.
Right. So I haven't got a Twilight at the moment. I'll just double check.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a feeling I checked last session, and I don't think I've played either of the two Twilights that are in the deck. Yeah. So I'll either see a Twilight soon because I've only got 16 cards left,
Mm-hmm.
or the deck will run out. So I think Aragorn will just stay where he is, waiting for that eventuality. He's just
Yeah, I was going to say that if they move to remember that undead are playable, any undead are playable, but you do have a hazard limit of 2. If Arwen goes, well, you'd have a hazard limit of 2 even if he went by himself.
Well, actually, having said that, I have got 2 concealments.
Now, Aragorn would need to tap to play the Army of the Dead, so he
so I
needs
can
to
only
stay
keep
untapped. She as a scout could tap to cancel an attack with a concealment, but there would still be one more hazard. If there were more undead, it might come through, and the Plague of Whites would boost it. But there's short of getting someone else over there, that's really the best you can hope for is her canceling one attack outright.
I think given that you're not racing ahead in your marshalling point acquisition, I can put it that way. I can afford to wait a turn and see if Twilight turns up.
I think you can. Yeah.
So I'll focus on Gandalf because I've got other things in hand that I can do. So there at Lorien, I've got 5 free GI, but Gandalf's using 8 out of his 10 direct influence because I have got Bjorn.
Mm-hmm.
So in theory, 5 plus the 2. But I can't organise it such that Gandalfs using all 10, so that I've got
Well, you can
7
put
free.
Arwen under Aragorn's control for a start.
Oh, because they're just sitting there, aren't they? There's no
Yeah.
problems with that. Yeah.
And
No
he
reason
doesn't
not to.
need he does not need the horn or his direct influence to bring the army of the dead in. They come in automatically if he plays the turn. If he plays the Paths of the Dead that turn, he doesn't need to roll. They
Yep.
just come into play. So you don't need to save his direct influence.
Ah, right. Well, that brings me to.
So now you have
I mean,
9 and
beyond
3 is 12. You've got
7.
8.
Yep. And Bjorn plus Robin would be 10, with the hobbits coming back off for maximum use of Gandalf's
Mm-hmm.
direct influence. So I would be back to 8 and 9, 17, 3, 3. But what's the rule with bringing in? Once my wizard's in play,
When your
the
wizard
wizard's
is in
got to be
play,
present.
they have to. He either has to be there, or there has to be a character who can bring the new character in completely under their own direct influence. Like Aragorn,
Right.
Aragorn could bring Arwen into play at Rivendell, even though Gandalf is not there, because Aragorn can control Arwen, so he can bring her
Yep.
in, and she comes in directly under his control. That's the only way around having to have your wizard at the site to bring the character in.
Yep.
So Bjorn could
Apart from
join
that,
Gandalf's company at Lorien, because they can come in at their home site or any haven.
yeah, okay. Alright, so I'll do that. So what I'll do is I'll reorganize. I'll put Robin
You don't
under
have to. You don't have
Gandalf.
to make it work to start with. You can just bring a character in, and then you're allowed to organize as you see fit. But if you can't reconcile to be within the 20 general influence points, that character that got played has to be the one that comes back to your hand. So there's not
Right,
you
okay.
can't do any funny business, bring one character in and discard another one or anything like that.
Yep, okay. Alright, so I'll just make Bjorn and Robin follow Gandalf, and the wizard Sam and Denethor come out.
So do swap C.
Oh, that'll be a quicker way of doing it, won't it?
Yeah. / swap C. And then click on Sam and Robin. And then click on Denethor and Bjorn.
Do I have to do another swap C?
No, you should be able to keep going.
Okay, I'll try.
There should be a button that says done.
Yes.
So
yes.
you're not done. So keep clicking there. Now click the done button.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, so that was the easiest way to do it.
Uh-huh.
So I've got 8 plus 9 is 17, so I'm down to 3 GI. That's good, and I get an extra couple of points for Beyond character points.
Right.
And let me just check. So he's very good. He's a 7/9.
Yeah, he's
And
usually
a
one
ranger.
of the two power combo companies. Him and Glorfindel usually. That was a badly, not abused, but overused combo. Bjorn and Glorfindel, pretty much the two toughest hero characters in the game.
Right.
And you'd run them around. You'd have a hazard limit of 2, and they could usually beat up just about anything.
I'm thinking, because I've got 2 hobbits, to put the 2 hobbits. But I've got to think of my GI. I was going to say run an extra company. But
You could leave Denethor at Lorien because he's worth a point, but he's so weak he's just adding to your hazard limit. He's a 3/6. Okay. He's not likely to survive. He could conceivably control somebody with a 2 mind if you have anybody in the deck that has 2 mind, but a 2 mind character won't be worth any points anyway. So it wouldn't be worth saving him to bring in another character.
Okay. I'll put that at the end. Oh, no, that's not right. I'll drag that back to my hand. I'll put them at locale 17.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, and so that'll bring it back to a 3 hazard limit for Gandalf's company.
Correct.
Let's see what I want to do. I've got a couple of options. So where are they, Lorraine? I've got the Ents at Welling Hall, so that's within range.
That's
easily.
that's a two region move.
And I've got the Bjornings. So
That's
that
a 2 region move in the other direction. So
yeah,
Bjorn is your main choice to bring the Bjornings in, of course, if not Gandalf. Gandalf's pretty much tied up with influence. But Bjorn gets the Bjornings and Sam gets the Ents because they get a +4. Hobbits get +4 to bring the Ents in.
Oh, okay.
So your company is the right company to go get both of those factions when you do.
Yes, I'll be doing something while... Alright, so I'll check what enhances I've got. Nothing there, no. Oh, I didn't do my untap all, so untap all, organised. Nothing happens with the long events into the movement hazard. And so if I do one of the other companies that's not moving, that'll let me draw back up. Since I've only got 7, so let's just say Aragorn company is going to stay at a border hold.
Okay. Looking at what I've got here.
But I only draw at the end of the movement hazard for that company, don't I?
You'll draw back up after their movement hazard, which is now. But since they're not moving, we don't draw any. But I do have a card that I can play.
Right.
The Slayer. Key to the border hold.
Ah.
So this is the one that does 2 attacks with 1 strike against the same character. Just like the Assassin, which does 3 attacks of 1 strike against the same character.
Yeah.
So you can tap 1 character in the same company to cancel one of these attacks. Oh, and most importantly, I forgot to say that just like the Assassin, the attacker chooses who it goes after.
Yep.
So I think we'll go after Aragorn.
I thought you might have said Arwen, thinking that I might have a go at defeating it.
Well, here's what you can do. You have a concealment, but you don't need it because you can only tap her to play the concealment, or you could tap her, as the Slayer's card text says, to cancel it outright. So he will have to face one of them. The Slayer is worth 2 points, so it's not bad to collect it. But Aragorn is the key to your deck, and you're trying to get him to do his thing.
It's a bit of an unnecessary risk, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Normally what I would do is I would accept the fact that I've got to face one, and regardless of whether I beat it or not, I would tap her to cancel the second one.
Okay, you wouldn't even consider trying to beat the creature.
Well, he's got a tap to do the first one, so I would just see what happens there. He's a 6 tapping against an 11, so he'd need a 6 to beat it, right? You could tap Arwen.
Couldn't he conceal the second attack?
Oh, you're right. I forgot. I'm sorry. He is a scout. So yes. So let him tap and play the concealment, and then let Arwen tap to cancel the second attack. I apologize. For some reason I was thinking his skill did not include scout. And that's all I have. That was a good play there.
Okay. Oh, and so I get to draw an extra card, so that kind of
Yeah.
worked out well. I've picked up the Palantir. Right, okay. Alright, so let me think. So you're at 8.
Mm-hmm.
So really the Denethor is just let's say Denethor.
I'd save him for last.
Save him for last. Oh, what's the reasoning?
Well, let's say I've got more hazard environments to put into play.
Oh, you get them into play.
I
And
get
then
them
you
into
play
play
your
on his
creatures,
turn.
the moving company.
Let's say I don't, but I play a card on guard on him, even if it's just a bluff. I draw, so I'll do that. I'll draw. I play a
It
card,
gives you a
and now I
chance
get
to draw.
I get to draw another card. See how that goes? So I'm taking that back to hand.
Yep. Okay. So there's very good reasons for
But
moving
yeah,
him last. Yep.
he's totally safe. He's sitting at the Haven. The worst that's going to happen is a corruption card's going to get played on him, and that's going to happen whether he goes first or last. But you don't want the environment getting worse for the other company that's moving.
Yeah, I didn't think it through enough. I just thought, you won't be able to pick any cards up, but you can even pick them up.
You can pick, you can pick one up with an on guard. Yep.
Okay, so Gandalf's going to Bjorn's house. It's a /P.
All right. So I'll draw one
hazard each. Bjorn's is a freehold. Bjorn's house.
Right.
That's interesting.
I'm going to play a Choking Shadows.
Holy boy.
For the alternative effect, if Doors of Night is in play, treat one wilderness as a Shadowland.
Okay.
And then with the Shadowland, the Wolden Foothills being now a Shadowland, I'm playing a Barrow White, keyed to the Shadowland. And because the Plague of Whites is out, the prowess is up by 1, so instead of a 12, it's a 13. And because Doors of Night is in play, the Plague of Whites also doubles the number of strikes. So instead of 1 strike at 12, it's 2 strikes at 13.
Strikes is double. Yeah. So the
Undead can get really nasty. There's more undead enhancers in some of the later sets, and it just gets even worse. They can quickly you've got to combo some cards together, or people have to be going into the Shadow and Darklands for you to play them, just without having anything to key them. But they can get pretty bad. You can get a lot of strikes out of them really quick. So 2, and I'll type it in, 2 at 13.
And I can't use my Elven Cloak because you've changed it from Wilderness
to Shadow, correct.
Yep. But I've got a few options. I've still got that Concealment, and I've also got an Escape.
Ah.
So I was hoping that I wouldn't have to use them. I was hoping I would be able to use the Concealment and Escape for Aragorn. But I think I'm wise to cancel this undead attack.
What I would do is I would hold on to the Escape. I would play the Concealment, let Gandalf play it because he's a scout. That keeps Bjorn untapped. That keeps the hobbits from having to do anything. And then if you have to, you can escape with one of the hobbits later on another attack.
Yep.
Because you don't want to escape with Gandalf. You don't want to turn him into a wounded character.
Yeah, okay.
Or you could play the concealment. One of the hobbits could play it and could then also be the one to escape. I was just thinking because Gandalf's direct influence is completely used up. He's not really of any use at the site. But yeah, any one of the 3 scouts could play that.
Yeah. I'll tap Gandalf.
So that was 2, and I have no more.
Okay, right. I was just thinking I probably should have tapped one of the hobbits, because if you're playing something else, they're going to be tapping anyway with their low prowess, whereas...
Right.
Not that I actually have any reason to keep Gandalf untapped, but in general. So I discard that concealment. I'm at 8. So you're at 8, so we're into the side phase.
We have Denethor.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
It's all right.
We were talking about that. Yeah. Yep.
On Denethor's turn, I'm going to play the Mouth of Sauron, and I'm going to get a hazard back to my hand from my discard. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm not playing it. I'm just getting it.
Okay. You're saving it for Aragorn.
Saving it for Aragorn, correct. Well, they'll only have a hazard limit of 2, and I really need to make my hazards count.
Yeah. And you know that I've got an escape.
Yeah, I know you've got an escape.
Alright, so side phase. So nothing happens at Dunharrow, nothing happens at Lorien. For Denethor. Yep. So I drag Lorien for Gandalf's coming back.
So do your thing, Bjorn.
So I play. So it's +1 for men.
So he has 2. He's got 2 direct influence. He gets +2 more against the Bjornings. He gets +1 for being a man, so that's +5. So he needs a 3. All he needs is a 3 or better.
Yep. Gotta be kidding me.
Do you remember my roll? I rolled a 2 trying to bring the Riders of Rohan in. That's where I'm sitting at Edoras right now.
I should have remembered.
I rolled a 2, just like you did, and you said something like the factions don't want to come in this game.
But +5.
Yeah.
God, damn it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so he discards. Luckily, it's sort of close to the end, or might get another chance later. So he taps for the attempt?
Sure, yeah, he does.
But the side doesn't, is it?
Correct, because he did not play it.
Okay, so we're going to the end of turn. And
Okay.
do we want to discard something? Let's have a look. So I'm coming up to you. Yeah, no. So draw 1, give you EOT.
All right. I'll discard 1 and draw and say done.
Dear.
Yeah, that was an interesting turn, especially that die roll. So I am sitting at 3 points. I have 2 character points and 1 ally point. I failed to get the faction. Galadriel corrupted away, I think. You influenced Peath away, and you killed Votelli. So, I have my work in front of me here, but we're gonna go ahead. luckily,
Wizard.
let's put this out, and then let's get my wizard. At his home site of Roscobel, which is in southern Mirkwood, which is a dark domain. It's the scary part of the forest where he lives and where Dol Guldur was, and all the evil that was in the forest. That was the center of it, and that's where his home site is. So he has to move through a dark domain to get anywhere.
What's the rule again about where the wizard comes in?
He can come in at his home site or Rivendell, but not any other haven, unless it's the other havens are their home. Is his home site. So wizards can't come in at Lorien because none of them have a home site there except Gandalf. Gandalf can come in at any haven.
So did you choose that because you want him to catch up with Edoras in the same turn and not have to take two?
I want to get him. Everything that I'm trying to do is over here on this side.
Yep.
So I want him to. I want him to go right as quickly as he can. So both companies are going to move. Let's do Radagast first. So we're organized. None of the long events leave. We go to the movement hazard phase. And he's going to go to the Southron Oasis, which is all the way at the bottom of the map.
Yeah, this is for the
So
faction.
he goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 regions.
Yeah. Yep.
But you'll see one is a dark, one is a shadow, and 2 are wilderness. So he gets to draw. You get to draw 2. I get to draw 2 plus 2 more for him moving through 2 wilderness.
Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. And I've got a hazard limit of 2.
Correct.
Interesting. I've got Mouth of Sauron, and my first thought was I'll play it and get something out of my discard, but then I thought, well, it's not too often you can play it as a creature.
Correct.
And there's no guarantee, although you've picked up a lot of cards, that you're going to be able to cancel it. So that would be 6 untapped. Untapped, it'd be a 3 versus 13 if you can't cancel it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'll try that. I'll play him as a creature.
Yeah, there you go. He pops out every once in a while like that. He does get killed sometimes, but I'll tell you, when he gets played, there's another card in a later set called Rank Upon Rank, and it boosts man attacks. It boosts their prowess and their number of strikes, and that always works good with him because he's a man, and so it takes him up from 1 strike at 13 to 2 strikes at 14, which is even crazier. So Radagast is actually going to have to tap and conceal it.
So I've done a bit of a roadblock on you.
You have. You've gotten me stalled out for at least that turn. If you have more hazards, you certainly can go after him, but he's not going to be doing anything this turn.
3, 4, 5. I've got 9 cards. I was thinking of doing it on guard, but there'd be no advantage. So no hazards. No more hazards.
Okay. So I've got to get rid of a couple.
Oh, I suppose if I'd done on guard, I'd delay having to do a discard is the only thing. That's all right.
All right.
as it is. I've got to find a discard, don't I?
So he's going to go. This is act. The second company is actually where it makes sense to play an on guard card because you've gone back to hand size now. That extra card, playing it on as an on guard or discarding it, it doesn't really help you draw anymore either way.
No.
All right, so we're going to move back to the Haven. So that's one card each, a Borderland and a Wilderness, and a hazard limit of 2.
Yep. Yep, I've got nothing useful to play, so resolve. Something's gone. I must have forgotten to go next movement hazard phase, so I'll do that trick of.
Yeah.
I'll increase my hand size to 9 momentarily.
Yeah, that's one. That's.
And I'll go through, and then I'll reduce it back to 8, and say no hazards. And then I've got to discard.
So I need to discard.
I've got an abundance of marshalling points. Something's going to have to go. And I think it's going to be them. And next movement has range.
All right.
You're hard pressed, are you? What to
decide?
decide?
Yeah. I'm. There was one card that I really wanted to play sometime, but I don't know that it's going to happen, and it's not as important as the other 8 I had.
Okay. So it's with you, is it, for sight?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to do anything. So we'll just go to end of turn.
Okay. I still need. I think you've given me. Yep. I'm going to try and look for another enhancer. Alright, so start turn, untap all. So I picked up a Twilight, so I guess I should play it now because then I find out whether you've got a Twilight to cancel my Twilight.
Correct.
Before I make my decision about what I'm doing.
Yes.
So I'll play the Twilight.
Okay, I'll play my Twilight.
I could have guessed.
The only advantage to not playing it right away is you clog your hand with it. But if you suspect that I have one and I'm waiting for you to play it, it's clogging my hand too.
Okay.
And actually, I had 2. I still have one.
Thanks. So even if I pick up my last one, yep, okay. I've only got one. I've only got that escape. So if I decide to go ahead this turn, but I could pick up something when the other company moves. I think, I don't have to sort of decide yet. I just wait to the movement hazard phase to see whether Aragorn makes the attempt. It's so close to the deck, my deck finishing, I'll probably just wait unless I pick up something good when the other guys move.
And remember, when the deck goes through, the Will of Sauron goes away.
Yep. So what about these Ents? I think that's the go. So I'll grab Fanghorn. Denethor can. Oh, well, hang on. Let's just have.
Now, if you want to play the Army of the Dead, you play it during your organization phase. At the end of the organization phase. So if Aragorn is going to take the Paths of the Dead, the Paths of the Dead has to be played at the organization phase. It doesn't mean he has to move. It just says if must be played at the end of the organization phase. If Aragorn starts at Dunharrow, he can move to the Vale of Erech. Something like that.
So there's only be played on the same turn that he plays Paths of the Dead.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The Paths of the Dead is the one that has the restriction and the instruction of when to play it.
Oh yes, playable only at the end of the organisation phase.
But it doesn't force him to move. So if you draw cards with Gandalf, if you have another Paths of the Dead, if you had two, say, you could play one now and see what you draw with Gandalf, and then decide that you don't want to move Aragorn through.
Because I know another one's coming.
Because you had another one coming.
Cards. So to work that out, I'll just check the discard to see whether I've played the first, because there are two on the deck according to my cheat list. Just scanning through the pictures. I don't think it has come out, so it must be still to come. But even if I've got it wrong, I could still just wait for the. I was going to say I could wait for the deck to play through, but then they could end up at the end of the following deck. I think I'll just hold off.
Okay.
Seeing as it's only 8. Because I've got other things that I can do. So Gandalf's going to go after the Ents.
Right.
And I've got a Palantir and I've got Gwaihir. So I was wondering whether, since Denethor's only worth 1 point, whether.
Yeah, send him go get Gwaihir.
Okay. So Eagle's Eyrie from Lorien.
That's relatively safe for the undead. I mean, undead won't attack normally in that sight path.
Okay. So Cal 17. That'll get some more cards moving through as well. Okay, so nothing to play, end of organisation. So I'm organised. Nothing happens with the long events because of the Blood of Sauron, so movement hazard. Oh, yep, that's right.
Okay.
Yep. Now, we were just talking about it, so yes, so I should do the company that's moving, or that I've got 2 moving companies. But the one I'm more worried about, I suppose, is Gandalf. I mean, if something happens to Denethor, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
So I'll move Gandalf's company. So that's going to be a region movement. I clicked on the wrong one. Regions. So from Anduin Vales,
Walden Foothills, and Fangorn.
Yep.
All right. It's a one draw and a hazard limit of 3. I have no hazards.
So I'm at an 8. So now Denethor will move.
Okay.
To Eagle's Eyrie. so that's a slash P.
Mm-hmm. 1 card each.
Yep. So I did pick up the other Paths of the Dead.
I have no hazards for him either.
Okay, so then it's Aragorn
So I gotta get rid of
staying
something.
at Dunharrow. Oh, you've got to discard, and I do too.
All right.
Yep, okay, so Aragorn at
Dunharrow. I have nothing for them.
For them, okay, so you're at 8, into the sight phase. So Aragorn's not doing anything.
He's getting his nerve up to take the Paths of the Dead.
All right, so Wellinghall is the Ents, so...
Right. So again, the Hobbit has the best chance, either of the Hobbits, because neither of them have any bonuses of direct influence. But they get +4. You need a 6, unless you have a friend or 3, which would make it automatic with the +4.
No, I haven't. Okay, so I need...
And you know our luck so far this game with faction rolls.
I'm certainly less confident on this one than I was on the last one. So I'll tap Robin to 1919. Yep. To make the attempt.
Come on, Robin. 6. 6 or better. Yeah, you got him.
It was easy. Okay, so score the Ents. Which is 3 faction points. And then, so I discard Bjorn's house to the location, tap Wellinghall, and so now Denethor just brings in Guahir.
Just brings him in. Puts out his arm and Guahir lands on it.
And interestingly, that special, the text for the card is if the company size is 2 or less, so that is a possibility.
Yeah, it is, but I don't ever think I've ever used it because he's worth 2 points and he's an ally.
Yeah.
And ally points are, it's really good to have ally points. Usually there are not a lot of allies in a game, and an ally point can double.
Yep. Alright, so we go into the end of turn phase.
Alright.
Do I want to discard anything? I'd say no, so I just draw back.
I'm going to discard and draw. All right. Still sitting at 3 points. On turn 13. On turn 13.
People will be thinking I set you up with this really horrible deck with just these weak ladies, but they didn't go too bad for me.
No.
As I recall.
No, you did fine.
I think you've just had bad luck.
All right. We're not moving the ladies anywhere. I don't have anything for them to play. But at the end of the organization phase, I needed to play this. Hiding. So this is Radagast, the scout, plays this card. He does not need to tap to play it. But a scout at the end of the organization phase can stay at the site, and it cancels all hazard creature attacks against the company. So if you had assassins, I'm hiding from them.
Yep.
And then we'll just go into the movement hazard phase, and you can do Radagast first.
so he is at a border hold, but no creatures.
Correct.
And we know that he's staying there to play a faction.
Yep.
So, so if I wanted to get an extra card, I would place something on guard, wouldn't I?
You'd play
Because it would
something on
take me
guard
down
on
to
both
7.
companies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I'm still looking for an enhancer. So I think
Would
I
you?
will do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I was going to say we're both at 8, or you're at 8. I'm at 7 because I played the hiding.
Yep.
But playing on guard would let you draw a card, and then on the other company, playing a card on guard would let you draw another card. What would happen at the end of the turn is those 2 on guards would go back to your hand, but you would have your choice of the 4 cards, which 2 to discard. It doesn't improve card draw quite as much as it improves card selection.
But if I play 2 of them on guard,
Mm-hmm.
I'll draw 2 cards.
Right.
But if I don't play them on guard, I won't draw any.
Right.
In both situations, I'll have the option of a discard at the end. So doesn't it? By playing them on guard, aren't I getting extra draws?
It sounds like you are. I think you are.
Is that right?
Yeah. Especially because they're not moving. Because you're not getting to draw cards. See, that's what I normally compare it to is when a company is moving. Like if I were on my turn right now and I had a hand of 7 and I was keeping Radagast there and I was moving the other company, I might do Radagast first because I'd draw back up to 8 at the end of his turn. And then I draw more cards for the moving company.
Yep. Okay. So, sorry, I didn't mean to play that.
That's okay.
Click on guard. So
they'll be coming out soon enough, I'm sure.
So select the site. Card. And no more hazards. And so now I draw back 8 and next movement hasn't phased.
So I draw 8 and we do the next company staying at Lorien.
Okay, so again I'll go on guard. No more hazards and draw back to 8.
Right.
Next movement hasn't phased.
So then I do sight phase. And Radagast is going to enter the Oasis. So if you have a card to reveal, it wouldn't be a creature because there's no auto attack at the site. But you could reveal a card that says may be revealed as an on-guard card to do whatever. Greed would be one.
Yeah, I had agreed, but I knew I wouldn't.
It wouldn't do anything here. You could reveal it, but it wouldn't do anything because nobody's playing any items.
So I've got 2 buttons. I've got reveal on guard and possible effect.
You would click possible effect.
If it was the greed, and if it was if it was a creature,
or if it's a bluff. If it's a bluff, you can still click possible effect.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it turns into no bluff. It was a bluff, and then you get to click return card, or you can drag it back to your hand.
Okay. Yep. So I do that straight away.
Well, so he's going to tap before you do this in response to me playing the faction.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Because I don't know what your on guard card is. So I tap him. Right, I tap him and say he's going to attempt to bring in the Southrons. And then I pause for a second and wait to see if you reveal the on guard card, like a lure of power that says the next successful influence attempt, the character makes a corruption check at -4. Remember that one?
Okay.
That could be revealed as an on guard card. And I would say, ooh, now I don't want him to make the influence attempt. But he's already committed to it.
So you would have to.
Yeah, I would.
Yep.
You would
Well, you've
reveal it
played
in
the card.
response to
Yeah.
my tapping to influence the faction, and then you reveal that, and it's as if it were played and resolved in the movement hazard phase. So it's in play to trigger its effect.
Yeah. All right. So I click on bluff,
So
select the card to move
he
to
has
your hand.
10 direct influence. So those will come in greater than 8, so it's automatic.
All right.
And now I have more than doubled my score with one
Oh, so that
faction.
was a
And again, I have 8
5.
points, but only really, if the game ended now, I'd really only have 6 because too many of them are coming from one source.
Okay. Yep.
So I need non-faction points quick.
See, that was a good faction, but it took you 2 turns, so it averaged out at 2.5
Right.
a turn.
Right.
Yep.
So there.
Okay, so you're not.
Oh,
Villains or
so
demons,
take
so I
your
do
other
return.
on guard card back, and now you would discard. You could discard one, and then you go to hand size. Well, you're already over hand size, so discarding one won't let you draw anything. So basically, you just discard down to 8. But again, you saw the extra cards you got, and you get your choice of what to discard now.
So you've given me end of turn
Oh,
discard,
I'm
haven't you?
sorry. I clicked it. Oh, but it says you need to get to 8 cards. So I would have done that. It's a little bit confusing. I think that the steps of this, either I'm not following them exactly right, or there's a little bit of a quirk with when you take the cards back to hand. So
So I've taken them back before you go into end of turn discarding.
that's
So should
when.
I be going back to 8 before you start end of turn discard?
No, I think I should have waited until you end of turn discard before you take the cards back to hand. I think I made you. I think I told you to draw them back to hand before you needed to, and now you've got to get to hand size, when in fact you should be resolving your hand completely at the end of turn discard now.
So I can still do a discard, can't I? I can always do a discard.
You will, but it won't let you draw anymore.
Oh,
So basically, you just
I
have
see
to
what you mean.
discard
Yeah,
two.
yep. Yeah, because I'm already oversized. Yep. Yep. Okay, so I got discard 2. I've got.
So I'll remember that next time. The on guard cards don't go back to hand until I hit end of turn discard.
So that's the sequence? Is it in the rules, or
Yeah, well, it's.
should be doing
I don't know that they splice it down as much as we have it in the buttons here. I think some of these things, like the end of turn hazard limit, end of turn discard, end of turn phase. I think some of those don't get explicitly named out.
It says, otherwise return the card to your hand at the end of the sight phase.
Oh, okay.
On page 38 of the.
But that means you have to resolve, the way these buttons work, you have to resolve that before you should.
Before you go.
You shouldn't really need to do it now. You would resolve your hands when I say end of turn discard. But I can't say end of turn discard because every time I push the button, it says hazard player needs to get to 8 cards.
I think I should. When I brought that second, you finished your sight phase, and I brought the on guard card back. I should have had to go back to 8 before at that point, and then you do end of turn discard.
Right, but you wouldn't get a chance to discard and draw after you did that because you did get more cards back to hand already. So you don't get to reset twice. It happens once at the end of the turn.
Yes, I can see what you're saying. If I was to go back to 8 before you start end of turn discard, I would get another chance. I would still get a chance.
Right.
But the rule here does say return the card to your hand at the end of the... Oh, it just says return the card. It doesn't say go back to hand size. Yeah.
No, they just go back to
you
your
don't
hand,
normally
and
do
then you
that.
have to resolve hand size at the end of the turn. But I think the way that the buttons have a set hand
It's
size,
expecting me to have 8
you're
before
expected to
start,
be at
yeah.
a certain hand size when that won't be the case. I think that's just a little bit of a quirk, and I think people who know to play the game right know that you're not discarding 2 cards now and then again discarding 1 and drawing 1.
Yeah.
You just do it once.
So in card number, you've got to hold off until you're into the end of turn discard to take your return.
Yes, to take the on guard cards back.
Yep. Okay. All right. So I've got too many marshalling point cards. So I've got a Sword of Gondolin and a Glamdring. So I'm thinking, which one's going to be?
Well, Glamdring is better. Glamdring is better in all ways, except if I'm playing Glamdring. If I get it out first, you're stumped. But Glamdring gives 1 corruption point instead of 2, and I think the bonus is better.
Oh yeah, it's a +3 to prowess to 8, 9 orcs. Now there's +2 to 8. Yep. Okay, so I'll discard the Sword of Gondolin. Because I've got an embarrassment of riches at energy points.
Throw some of that my way. I don't have anything in hand.
I've got a friend or 3, but it won't help me with Aragorn's trip. So I'm not doing any influencing or any corruption checks. And I've got no factions coming along, so I think I might let him go. Alright, so I'm back to 8 and I'm done.
All right. And now is when I would say, go ahead and draw those on guard cards back.
Yep.
All right.
Starting to get the hang of it. So start turn, untap all. There. So I haven't got a second canceller, and I've only got 2 left, so I'm going to wait again with Aragorn. So I'm not going to play Paths of the Dead to initiate that combo. But I have got. Actually, I probably should have kept that one. I have got Return of the King.
So run him over to Minas Tirith. It's a 2-region move.
Aragorn?
Yeah.
Then you have to go back again to do the Dunharrow.
Sure, but you're getting points out of him, aren't you? Your call. What will happen
is not in play.
I'm sorry?
I was just reading how
Denethor, yeah. That's right. Denethor got the faction or the ally too.
And I can't move him. Yeah.
Save him.
Downside.
I'm sorry. I should have let Denethor not be in that deck. Save Aragorn for the army. He's much better. That's worth much more to you getting that.
Yeah. So I'll end up discarding Return of the King because I don't want to lose my Guar here.
Right.
Which I would if I discarded Denethor. Yep.
He's the reluctant king.
But I have got the Palantir and
of Minas Tirith?
Sword, so Denethor is a sage.
Mm-hmm.
So he could go to Minas Tirith.
He could.
But again, now I'm risking more, aren't I? Now I'm risking the 2-point ally, whereas before, when he was on his own, it was just 1 character point.
Right.
But that's something I've got to judge in my mind. But all right. So location.
The eagle is tougher than he is, so the eagle could take a strike from something, but if Denethor faces anything, his body is so low he's likely to die if he loses.
So is a major item, and these guys are at Welling Hall. So let's have a look. Major item site, which is
So
that.
look in the gap of
glittering.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the Glittering Caves.
Yeah, I was going to say the Gap of Ison. So that's where
Yep.
it's at.
Okay. And I've got no end of organisation cards, so I'm organised. Nothing happens with these long events. Movement hazard phase. So again, I've got the two companies moving. I suppose it's not really clear one or the other, so I'll go. Oh, what's the automatic attack? So it's not undead. That's lucky. So Gandalf will move to the Glittering Caves. That's going to be a region movement.
Right. Fangorn to Gap of Ison.
And that's 2 each.
And draw 2. So you've gone through your deck.
So I do a
/-
minus deck, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dash
deck.
Okay, so I've drawn my 2. So it's 2 hazards, ruins and lairs, a wilderness, and a border land.
Hazard limit of 3. So the Will of Sauron goes away.
Ah, yes.
And the Plague of Whites goes away.
And
the Minion Stir goes away. Doors of Night stays out. Will of Sauron does not take the Doors of Night with it, but it takes all of the long event hazards with it.
I made a mistake here, didn't I? I should have thought that it was going to redeck. I could have played Paths of the Dead on the assumption that one of the moving companies would trigger the redeck.
Oh, yeah.
I probably wasted a bit there, but
that's
anyway.
Okay. So now I'm going to play the Morgul Knight. So that turns the wilderness into a Shadowland. So Fangorn is a Shadowland with Morgul Knight out. Now this will not stay in play more than your turn once and my turn once because there's no Will of Sauron.
Yeah.
But with that shadow, and I have 2 more hazards. Unfortunately, these creatures are not enhanced in any way, but at least they're playable. So I have the ghosts are 3 strikes at 9, and they're keyed to the Shadowland Fanghorn.
Yep. Okay, so I can't use my Elven Cloak again. So I'm trying to play a sword, but I've got to keep a character to face that
auto attack,
pupil attack,
right?
And then one to tap as well to play the sword. So the hobbits, I guess, will both tap, and one of the good guys, probably Bjorn, will
face it untapped.
Untapped, yeah. What's its prowess? 9.
So he would need to roll a 5.
Yep. All right. So face attacks. Although I still have got the escape, but I think I'll save that for Aragorn. So face attacks, locale 11, and I'm not trying to defeat it, so it doesn't really matter what order they.
No, it wouldn't matter. It's always your choice what order to face strikes.
Yep. Okay, so I'll do Beyond first. So he's untapped. So he's a 4 versus 9. 5, only just.
To what he needed.
So next character.
Now
So
they need
Robin.
more even when they tap, so.
So he's a 1 versus 9.
So looking for an 8. Good.
Oh.
Good. How about that? Sam?
No, next character.
Other locale.
Oh, it is other locale, isn't it? Yeah. Must be 13. He taps.
Do like Robin did.
1 versus 9.
Ah!
Oh,
He did do like Robin did.
unreal. Oh, so I get a kill.
Score it.
Yep, there's no body. Yep. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. But there's another one coming, isn't there?
There sure is.
Work? I think I tried to drag it, so I'll try that again. Instead of just clicking on it.
Did it? It's in your pile.
No, it did work.
It's in your pile.
I'll click on it again and see what it does. Yep, that's all right. So I get 1 kill point. Hooray. And done.
So there's my last. There's my last hazard. The ghouls
5,
also keyed 5 at 7.
So you choose.
So I give 1 extra
faces,
modifier.
Gets an extra 1.
Yeah.
And you don't have to say until.
I think we'll put it on
a particular
Gandalf.
Character.
We'll put it on
Put it
Gandalf.
Yeah. All right. So
I'll do that. Yeah, I'll hover over
types.
him and I'll go. Gandalf assigned to -1.
Okay. So it's locale 11.
So they'll all face 1 at 7.
So he's a 4 versus 8 untapped.
4 versus 7.
Oh, 7, sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
this
only
one's a little
Gandalf,
weaker.
it's the 8. Fine. So then we go next character. He's already tapped, so he's a 0 versus 7.
Correct. You could get. Look at these. The hobbits keep rolling 10. You could get another kill point here.
So this is 3 versus 8.
7 versus 7.
Oh, or 2 versus 7, because it's the extra, isn't it?
Yeah.
2. I keep adding it to the.
It's either way. People argue it. It's this way. No, it's this way.
What do people normally apply it to the character's prowess, not the?
That is technically the way you're supposed to do it. Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, I'd rather do it the right way. Or just the less confusing way, the way people expect it to be done.
It's just up to Sam, and you got another kill point here.
So he is a 0 versus
7.
which is doable.
Oh yeah.
Surely all these rolls, I'm due for a small one.
That got him.
Okay, so he is wounded, and so you've got a body checker 9.
Nah. All right, that's it.
So I've got to go back to 8. Where are you at the moment? You're at Southron and Lorien.
That actually worked out better for you than it would have otherwise. You got a kill point. You got 1 wounded hobbit, but that's not that big a deal. And your 2 main characters stayed untapped to face the strike and play the item.
I think I was very fortunate.
Yeah.
See, I've got to remember that on your turn, Morgul Knight is in play. So there'll be Shadowlands coming.
That's right.
So I don't necessarily... Whereas I might normally discard creatures that are Shadowland creatures, I'm less inclined to. But I've got to find 2 discards. Oh, Return of the King was 1. Yep. It's an easy one. And I need all of those things. An item. 8. So
Okay.
my next company will be done facing. So Denethor will move to Minas Tirith, so that's a region movement. So Anduin Vales. Vales and Foothill. Where's Minas Tirith? And then
Yeah, you go Rohan and Honorian.
Oh, yeah. He's doing a bit of a trip.
He's headed back home.
2 each.
He found a bird and he's going home. So that's 2 each.
It has a limit of 2.
That's a limit of 2. No hazards.
I'm going to find another 2, righto. So you're about to redeck as well.
Yeah, I've got 8.
Yeah, I've got a Twilight, so I was just sort of going through my mind thinking, oh, do I want to keep that in case you happen to draw another Will of Sauron or a Plague of Whites?
Right.
I probably should concentrate on that because there's a lot of marshalling points involved rather than keeping hazards that may or may not be playable against you. So I'll discard a couple of hazards reluctantly. Sorry. Again, I clicked on it. Sorry about that.
It's all right. Pretend like I didn't see it.
I don't think there's a lot of items played in that deck, so I'll discard the greed. And so I'm back to 8. You're at 8. Side phase. Oh, no, it's not side phase, sorry. No, because he's done Harrow. Yeah, so Aragorn's staying at a border.
Yeah, I don't have anything for them.
Hold. Haven't got anything right. Okay, so we're into the side phase. So we'll do Gandalf. So it's 1 strike with 9.
Bjorn can tie it automatically?
Yep, okay, so he taps. So that's covered.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gandalf taps. Oh, I drag Wellinghold to the discard. Tap Glittering Caves. And play. So Gandalf's looking good now. So
that's Gandalf's sword.
Yeah, he's 9.
That's his sword.
Ah, yeah. And 2 item points.
Mm-hmm.
And then Denethor. Player will only administer if with a bearer able to use it. Tap Palantir to. Oh yeah, so it's just a play.
So you don't worry. There's no condition to play it. He just needs to enter the site. There is no auto attack, and he can tap and play the item. Taps the site, and he's got 2 more item points.
Great.
And he's the guy that held that. So you're giving all the right items to the right people.
It's very thematic. So end of turn phase. Do I want to discard anything? No. Give you the acknowledgement.
All right. I was just looking to see if there's anything to hold on to here. I'm done.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. I thought for a horrible moment I discarded my Paths of the Deed accidentally.
No.
It's still there. So while you're thinking about that, I study my hazards so that I'm ready.
Okay. I'm done. I clicked done.
Oh, sorry. I missed that.
All right. So I have one bit of luck here. Look at that. Comes in at her home site with the wizard controlling her.
Oh, wow.
So I get an extra point out of that at least. And the other ladies are not really sure what they want to do. I think we'll go here.
Are you having to hope that you'll pick something up?
Well, I've got some things. I'm just trying to figure out where the best place is to get them.
Okay. Bearing in mind that Morgul Knight's out.
Yeah, well, I've got a Twilight that I can cancel it with, unless you can cancel my canceller. But I also realized that once I draw through my deck, the game is over. The game is over at the end of that turn.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking.
But I haven't got 25.
You got
I've
me
got a
beat.
double on item, yeah.
You got me beat quite a bit. And yeah, Galadriel had an item when she corrupted, and Peef had an item when you influenced her away. So I did
have to get an item on your last turn.
I'm gonna have to get an item, exactly.
No, I still wouldn't quite be up to 25. 19 and 4 is 23. So I wouldn't actually. Oh no, you have to have 25 to call it, don't you? But if it
with... I'm sorry. We're playing the 2-deck game now. I'm still on my mind is the 1-deck game. So yes, we cannot call the council until we've gone through our deck once, but the council doesn't call automatically until you go through twice. I was thinking we were playing the 1-deck game still, so my mistake.
Yep. I think I was confused too. So we've got to go through once, and we've got to have 25 to optionally call it.
Right.
And that's 25 in hand.
That's 25 total.
Assuming doubling, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's try and Twilight the Morgul Knight. Do you have a Twilight to cancel?
Well, I'm torn here. I do, but then I was thinking about saving it for in case you play Plague of Whites. But I want Morgul Knight on the table because I've got some trolls.
I know what's in store for these guys moving through Shadowlands.
which if you're playing that you're pretending you don't know, I might still get to play them. But if you're playing knowing them, I'm probably not going to get to play them. So.
Well, I've seen enough of them, and I've seen the minion stir out. So it's pretty clear you're not playing orcs, you're playing trolls.
Yeah, but I will Twilight.
Yeah. Okay. So mine stays out. I mean the Morgul Knight stays out.
Yep.
And we've got both companies moving. We're organized. Let's do the Wizards Company first. He's going to go from Harandor, which is a Shadowland, to the Mouths of the Anduin, which is a coastal. And it's a Ruins and Layers. So Harandor, even though it's showing as a wilderness symbol, remember, is a Shadowland.
Because of Morgul Knight.
Because of Morgul Knight. So
and we're drawing 2 each.
2 each. I don't get to draw anything extra because there are no wilderness out right now.
hazards. Let's see. So I'll play the half trolls keyed to Harondor as a shadow land.
Yeah.
So it's 2 of 10.
Vigavril is going to conceal it.
Very good.
No, it was not very good because I had a stealth in hand that I didn't play that I should have played on either company, but didn't. Would have been much more useful. So you still have one hazard? Yeah.
Okay, it comes Olive High.
Yeah.
It's the same deal.
Okay, so 3 at 10. So we're going to have to... I can't cancel that.
Oh yeah, no. For a moment I thought this one doesn't have Shadow Hold, but it's the Shadow Land.
It's the land that we're moving through that you're going to get me with. So you have 1 to assign. She would be a 1 versus a 10, or it could go down to a 0 versus 10 if you chose to assign it to her, or you could save it for Radagast.
Well, she's only worth 1.
Right, and she's already tapped.
So I'm inclined to assign it to Radagast.
So she's a 1 versus 10. Yeah.
So she's
Body of 7.
Ooh. So body check 7.
Okay.
I'm saving my good body roll for Radagast.
Let's take I'm going to take my chance here. I'm going to go ahead and he's not going to tap. So he's down from a 6 to a 3, down to a 2 with the modifier. So he's a 2 versus a 10.
Ooh, that's, you're needing 8. That's not all.
I mean, there's not any way I'm going to win this, so I really might as well just go all out.
Yeah.
Ha ha!
Oh, you did it, yep.
So that's the hazard limit for that.
I don't have to roll body because you didn't defeat both strikes. Yep.
Right.
So that discards.
Okay. So I discard the Oasis.
So I draw.
So you draw back up, and then you click next movement hazard. And then I move to the Lonely Mountain. And again, those wilderness are Shadowlands. So 2 Shadowlands, 2 Borderlands, to a Ruins and Layers. We can each draw 2.
And it's a 2 limit, right? Okay. So let me think. You're going to a Ruins and Lairs, so you might be going to try and play one of these items. Okay.
Yeah, greed would be good on this site. This is a clear item site.
I have got a greed, so I'll probably play that. But I'd play it on guard, wouldn't I?
It would be better to play it on guard.
Yeah, to save it in case you don't decide to go ahead. And for the other one, I've got a Lure of the Senses, so get some corruption points out there. So there's a 1 strike with 14. So if you
I'd have to conceal that.
Yeah. So I don't really know who's going to play the item. It's probably... Well, I think I'll put put it on Galva because she's got the Goldberry. So that's the one of the 2 I want to see go more.
Right. That's the way to do it. Yeah, they're both scouts. Galva and
Yeah.
Annalena are both scouts, so you wouldn't be thinking, well, this is the only one that can play the concealment, so I'll put the corruption on the other one, because it could be
Yep,
either.
I didn't think of that.
Okay.
And I'll play a card on guard. I'm
Oh,
back
well.
to 8. No hazards. Things
So I have
move
to
in
go to
phase.
8.
Yes, if there'd been one scout, that's the one you're going to tap. So I'd play the lure on the other character because it's the one that's going to get the item. Yep.
So I'm going to play this just instead of getting it out of my hand. It's a short event, and it would let me cancel Nazgul permanent events by tapping characters. But
just a fraction early, I have got one in my hand. Yeah.
Since Doors of Night is out, it also gives characters +1 prowess until the end of the turn. I probably should have played. I should have played that before Vigavril faced her creature, but this is okay. It will help with the auto attack. And now I'm at hand size.
You could have played the. Oh, did you?
You can play that at any time, and it lasts through the turn.
Yep.
So we're not going to enter the Lonely Mountain.
Okay.
So don't take your card back just yet. But over here...
No, it's got to wait till...
Right. Over here, Radagast... They each face one at 7. And you can give a modifier to Radagast or Vigavril. He would be the obvious one to give it to since he's staying untapped. So that negates the praise to Elbereth that gave him a +1. He's down from a 6.
He's a 3.
6 to a 3, facing a 7.
Should be right. You're having a shocker. Oh dear. You won't want to play against me. So that's a body check of 9.
Yeah. Go ahead, get him.
That's the way.
All right. So that's the end of turn. I'm going to go end of turn discard, and now you can draw your on guard card back.
Yep, okay.
And then you go to hand size.
Yep, okay. So I've got 9, and I've got a nice easy option this time because I've got my other wizard.
Yeah.
So he goes, and
I'm done.
Alright, start the turn. Untap all. Now, the good news is I picked up concealment, so I've got escape and concealment.
Perfect, that's what you need.
Yeah, so only one character will have to tap.
So Arwen, you leave Aragorn untapped the whole time because he needs to tap to play the faction.
Yeah.
Arwen is your scout to tap for the concealment, and then she also takes the hit with the escape. And the hazard limit's only 2, so that's the worst I could do.
Yep. So I'll play... Oh, it's at the end of the organisation phase. I'll be playing Paths the Dead. What else have I got? So I haven't got any other marshalling points.
So is anybody else moving?
Well, just thinking Sam's got a...
Got to get him back.
So I could move back from Glittering Caves, to Lorient. I'll do that. Standard sites, walls and foothills. And now Denethor is at Minas Tirith.
So he could go. He could go to the Haven and just sit at the Haven from there on out. And if you sideboarded in a line Palantir,
yep.
you can put that on there for another 2 points. Now it does add 2 more corruption points, but you presumably would have your other characters back at the Haven by the time you're ending the game, so that they could tap to support his corruption checks.
So I've missed a trick here because I could have brought that in.
I
redeck
the Align Palantir, yeah. You could bring it in now. You could tap your wizard to bring it in. Since you're just moving back to a Haven, he doesn't need to stay untapped for anything.
And that would bring it one card into a play deck, wouldn't it?
Correct. So you wouldn't get it automatically. It would be, you're still got quite a ways to go through the deck, but you've got a lot of cards out on the table. So there's only a 35 card play deck right now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this is good practice for me to start thinking about using it. So, I'll tap Gandalf.
Mm-hmm. And then click on your play deck.
Yeah.
And go to sideboard. And then just drag the Align Palantir to the top of your play deck. And then click Close and Shuffle.
Which is shuffling not the sideboard, but the play deck.
It shuffles the play deck, correct. And then close it out.
Yep. So in that case, I might as well move Denethor's company back ready.
Right.
Oh, what is the text on it? So I have to be at a Haven, do I do?
No.
A line?
No, you have to have a Sage, but to store it, you have to have it at the Haven.
Yep, okay. So I might as well.
So there's not really any reason anybody else is going to Minas Tirith. Denethor prevented Aragorn from becoming the king, although he is pretty well ready to bring in an army of the dead.
Yep.
All right, so now you're at the end of your organization phase.
So I play Parts of the Dead. That's on the table. Finally.
It's a cool card.
So I'm.
Mm-hmm. So you need to get the Vale of Erech from your location deck, which is in Lamadan, south of the mountains.
So if we were playing competition, in theory, if you were tough, you wouldn't say anything, would you? You'd just say, oh, you forgot to play your sight card.
No. You just need to... that's why we're walking through this way, because there's a lot to pick up.
There's a lot to remember, yeah.
So, read... basically, whenever in doubt, read the card. Just see what it says, and usually it will tell you when you can play it, what the requirements are, and what it does. So this one says, playable only at the end of the organization phase. For its movement, a company that starts at the Dunharrow site and contains Aragorn 2 may move to the Vale of Erech site. The only hazard creatures that can be played on this company are undead, but any undead may be played on the company. So you have undead coming with a hazard limit of 2, and you're prepared for it.
Okay, so
the long event phase, Mortal Night goes.
Yep. That was my opponent, so I've got none to play. So I go into the movement hazard phase. And I should do Aragorn first to prevent you picking up more cards.
Right.
Doing
again, the fact that you've got a defense against 2 undead coming at you, you're safe. So the first one is the ghouls. So that would be 5 strikes at 7.
Yep, which I would cancel.
And Arwen will tap and conceal it. And then the second one is the Barrow-wight. She will escape it.
And I escape. escape it, and I wound Arwen.
Mm-hmm. No body check. And that's it for hazards. Oh, we forgot to draw the one card for Veil of Eric.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have done anything more. That was my maximum hazard limit anyway.
You won't believe what I've just drawn.
Tell me.
Have a guess. What did I just bring from the sideboard?
Oh,
and say, well,
perfect.
Somewhere in 35 cards it'll turn up.
There it is. How about that?
Well, I wonder if
you shuffled. No, you did
shuffle it. Worked.
You shuffled it.
Yeah, I did close and shuffle. So, Yep. It's just one of those games.
Yeah.
So I'm back to 8.
Enjoy it.
The next. Yeah. So in terms of the other guys, I'll do Gandalf next.
Okay.
So that's the nearest, so it's a /P. It's 2 each.
Okay. So I have to redeck. I drew one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my sideboard. So you can
swap any 5, can't you?
Correct.
Of any type.
So I have 3 Dark Quarrels in my deck, in my sideboard. Cancel an attack by orcs, trolls, or men. Those 3 are coming in. So I'm going to drag them right to my play deck first. So that's 3.
Are you doing the business of...
Yes, I'm going to take 3 out. I'm going to take 5 out. So I take Vanishment in and another Vanishment in. So now I have 5. I've brought 5 cards into the deck. So now I'm going to move to sideboard from my discard pile. And I'm going to move Gandalf. And I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to move...
Hang on. So, where's this sideboard thing? I'm not quite sure.
It's a button on the play deck.
I mean the process.
Oh, the process. When you go through your deck, you can take any 5 cards out and put an equal number in. They don't have to match. They don't have to be hazards to hazards or resources.
Because you're going to shuffle. I was thinking you're putting them into the play deck with less than 5 cards, but it's all going to get shuffled with your discard pile anyway.
Yeah. I'm moving. Yeah. Oh.
So you're currently taking 5 out of your
Correct.
Discard. Yep. I'm with you.
So that's 4. 5. Okay. Now, so I took 5 cards out of the discard pile and moved them to the sideboard. I pulled 5 cards from the sideboard into my play deck. And now I'm going to redeck, and that will shuffle everything back from discard and play deck, which was the cards I pulled from my sideboard. And the other cards are moved back to my sideboard from my play deck. That was my extra copy of my wizard and a couple of other cards that are pretty useless at this point. So I'm drawing one more. Go ahead.
One curious thing is that it says it actually told me the type of card. You don't actually have to declare the type of card in that situation, do you?
I could turn that off, but it doesn't really matter.
Oh, there is a way to turn it off, is it?
Yes, there's all kinds of little extra on and off buttons for the names of the cards. It could give you, I could set it so that it told you exactly which card it was, or I could turn it off completely so it just says moves a card. I think all of those are commands in the help list, but I don't really ever use them, so I don't worry about it.
Yeah.
All right. So back to these guys. I drew my 2. I sideboarded 5 in and 5 out. They're moving from the Glittering Caves to Lorien, which was a /P, so it's a wilderness and 2 border. I'm going to play another Morgul Knight.
Okay.
I'm going to play a Plague of Whites. And I'm going to play Ghosts. So that's the hazard limit. So Morgul Knight turns the wilderness into a Shadowland. The Ghosts are keyed to the Shadowland. And the Plague of Whites boosts the prowess by 1 and doubles the strike. So instead of 3 at 9, it's 6 at 10. That's what I said. When you can combine the playability and the enhancers, the undead can get bad really quick. But it does take a combo, or it takes them blundering into Shadowlands and Dark Domains.
So you've got two strikes to assign.
So right, so 6 at 10. I think.
And you can split them or put them both on one character.
I could. I think I'm going to put them both.
And you don't have to declare it if you don't.
I think I'm going to put them both on
wait.
Bjorn. So he's a 5 versus a 10 if he taps.
Oh, 5 versus 10, yep. Yep, so face attacks. Okay, 11. So he taps. He's just going back to Haven, so no reason not to.
Right, and this is the hazard limit, so you know I don't have anything more to play. Now, there is a card that comes in one of the later sets that does not count against the hazard limit, and it lets those extra strikes, instead of being a -1, the first extra strike on each character as a modifier is a -4. It's the perfect card to play with the undead attacks once the undeads are doubled strikes, because you always get lots of modifiers.
What's it called?
It's called Pierced by Many Wounds.
Oh, I like it.
It's It's I think it's the dragons. It's either dragons or dark minions, but it changed a lot of strategies with the undead, and the not counting against the hazard limit is just brutal.
Yeah.
It works. It works for wolf attacks too, because there's lots of strikes with the wolves.
Right.
It's actually 5 versus 10.
Oh, I forgot about the.
The plague gives it an extra +1 prowess.
Yep. 5 versus 10. All right, here we go.
Yeah, see, that's why I gave those extra 2 to Bjorn. I really thought I might be able to get him, and so he's a 9 versus 10. He's a 9 body, so body check 9.
Must be due for a good roll.
No, not this game. But that just means one more turn of stalling to heal everybody.
Yeah.
So that's the hazard limit.
He'll be untapped. Yeah. All right.
No more hazards.
Next character.
Okay. Keep going.
So he is a 1 versus 10.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not good. He's unlikely to do that. Yep.
So he's a 9 body.
You'll get one of these guys. Probably Sam, I'd say. Seeing as he's already wounded. You've seen that before.
Uh-huh.
Next character, say he is a 5 plus 3 is 8.
You do the weapons first, and then you modify after. So he's up to an 8, and then he's tapped, so he's back down to a 7.
3 plus 5 is 8. but
He's already tapped.
already-
He's not suffering any penalties. He carrying the weapon, he's a 6. But the weapon gives +3 to a maximum of 8. So the weapon maxes out at 8. Being tapped, he's
So-
down to a 7.
So the sword, the +3 sword, is that to the printed value on the card or the status of the card?
So the +3 is to. I don't know how to
Is
answer that.
is it 6 as his printed prowess, or is it 5 that he's tapped? I suppose either way it wouldn't matter here, would it? Because he'd end up at 8. And
Well,
then
he'll
he's
end
tapped,
up. He'll be
so
a.
he's a 7.
He'll be a 7 tapped.
Yeah.
There's
But
a
what
there's a
but
part
what
in
if
the
it
rule
didn't
book.
matter?
There's a part in the rule book that says what order to apply prowess bonuses and modifiers, and weapons
Okay.
come first,
Weapons come first.
and then the other modifiers like a risky
The tapped.
blow, or a tapped status, or a wounded status. That happens next.
So he goes +3 -1 for being tapped is +2,
He's a
but
7.
he's a 7, right? Oh, it's a bit confusing, that one. So it's a 7 versus 10.
Good.
Right. Okay, so other
Now
locality.
Sam is a -1, so he needs a 12,
So he's mine. Yeah.
or he needs an 11.
1 versus 10. This is not going to happen. No.
And now
So what-
wounded, his body is lower by 1, so instead of a body check at 9, I get a body check at 8.
Oh, so there's no extra penalty for the fact that he's been wounded twice.
No. You can only be wounded. The wounded status, the already wounded status lowers the body by 1. So, like, if a character that's facing a strike is wounded, his body is 1 lower than printed.
Yep.
And he's still okay.
The successful strike just gave you another body check roll. It didn't
Correct.
give you any
Correct.
further.
But again, because
and
he
a
was
lower number.
because
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
wounded, it's
Yeah,
1
at
lower
8 instead of
prowess
9,
or
yeah.
body.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Done facing.
Let me go back to no hazards again. So.
On at 10. I'm not going to need this other part of the dead. Where are you? You're at Lonely Mountain. Just thinking. Okay, so the last company is Denethor, also moving to Lauren, so that's a /P.
Right? But again, the wilderness are going to be Shadowlands with the Morgul Night out. So that one wilderness, so it's going to be Free Domain, Borderland, Shadowland. So we draw 2 from Minas Tirith. I don't have anything.
Yep. Oh. Even with the Plague of Whites.
No, I'm not drawing the.
Right, yeah. So that Morgul Knight and Plague of Whites are going to be there for your turn.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. But you're only going to be a 2 hazard limit on each company unless you bring a new character in. So I'm not going to need 7 hazards. That's the upshot. Okay, so I'm back to 8. You're at 8.
Mm-hmm.
To the side phase.
So Aragorn taps and brings in the Army of the Dead.
So that just
score it.
just like
No
that,
roll
just
necessary.
score it. And I discard Dunharrow to the location deck
Mm-hmm.
and tap the vial. And nothing happening at
Score your 6 faction
Lore.
points.
Oh, yeah.
So you hit 25. Nice.
25.
Nice.
Oh yeah, and it's midday.
Now, play your aligned Palantir on the Palantir of Minas Tirith.
Oh, because
it can be played at any time. You just need to have a sage there with it.
Cards. Black discard. Why did that one not discard? That's it. So,
And then
you
click
tap on the card.
Yeah, click on the aligned Palantir, and it'll say place this on a Palantir. And score 2 more miscellaneous points. And then you call the game.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's midday and you're not, there's nothing you particularly want to do with that deck, is there?
No, I want to bury
to
it.
keep going. So I draw back. Oh, I go into end of turn.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't. Oh, well, I am going to have a corruption. Well, I would have a corruption check on Denethor, so I'll keep my friend off 3 for that.
Yes, definitely.
So I'll draw 2 back to hand size. Give you the discard and say.
I'll discard 1 and draw and say done.
And I state that I'm calling the free cancel at the end of your next turn. Do you even want to play it?
I think I should just go ahead and concede at this point. I don't think the outcome is not going to change. All I had, I'll show you. I had Galadriel. I had a sapling of the white tree. I had the Palantir of Amon Sul that I would have gotten at the greater item site Lonely Mountain. But you made me use my concealment on the other company. So they were stuck there and I had nothing to do. Even though you played a greed on the site, that wasn't what kept me from playing. Or from entering. It was the one at 14 auto attack. And I just drew Galadriel, so it would be nice to bring her back into play with Radagast if he were back at the Haven, but he's not. I just drew the Dunlendings, which is totally on the other side of the map. So, yeah, there's not much I could do at this point. I'll concede.
You could play it out and get a bit closer, but it's...
no, it's not necessary.
You wouldn't have a chance, would you have...
I was really glad to see that work with you, with the army and the Palantir and everything. You got all your types of points. You got a kill in there. You got 9 points of factions. This deck, I just wasn't getting the rolls.
No.
And you hit me pretty hard when you knocked those 3 characters out. 1 corrupted, 1 discarded, and 1 eliminated. That was really hard to come back from.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I'll concede.
All right.
That was a good game.
It was a good game for Aragorn.
He survived.
And we did start getting a bit more of the sideboard happening.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to think about it more.
Oh, so the next.
And
So I'll stop recording here, okay?
Righto.